suggest to you all that there is a cause. There's a cause and a reason why we are Democrats. And there's a cause and a reason why we are so needed in our state and in our nation at this particular moment in time. When I look nationally at why we are needed, it is obvious what is happening all around us. I thought I'd never see the day when I thought that the United States Supreme Court was just totally political. But as I've witnessed some of the things that they've done recently, I'm convinced that they've been listening to Steve Bannon and others like him and have decided that they have a role to play in that. I'm sorry. I believe that facts are still facts, not alternative facts, but facts are still facts. I believe that bribes are still bribes. Don't overturn a conviction and tell me that you overturned it because it's not a bribe, it's a gift, when you are the recipient of gifts. And so what you're saying in essence is we're going to change the rules of the road so that if at some point we're called to the mat on it, it's not what it used to be, it's what we say it is. I have a problem with that. Can't do anything about that other than share with my friends and neighbors that I think that it's a wrong direction that we're headed in, and it's all because of politics. But at some point, politics becomes real because we feel it and we sense it. I was disturbed by the ruling whereby they've decided that the institutions that we have, that we've relied upon so many years, that keep us safe in so many ways, environmentally and otherwise, that those institutions are being stripped of the authority that they've had for years and years and years. And the court is now assuming certain authoritative roles that those institutions once had. It's been suggested that if the other fellow that's offering himself to become president becomes president, that he has a group of folks in line who will take his oath of loyalty, whereby they have decided that they will do essentially what he's told. Y'all, it is a scary time in America because I believe that Maya Angelou was correct when she says when somebody shows you who they are, you best go ahead and believe them. I'm absolutely convinced that when this gentleman talks to us and others come behind him and tell us what he said, no, I heard it. I mean, I have 2 ears. I heard what came out of his mouth. And so you can't explain away what I've heard. I don't believe that America will sit idle and allow that kind of thing to happen once more. I think we've had our taste of it. But y'all, if we get distracted by a debate and a performance and all of these other things that will happen between now and November, shame on us. Fool me once. And that's what he did. He fooled America once. Shame on him. But now if he fools us again, then shame on who? Shame on us. And we won't let it happen. We simply will not let it happen. There's a cause for us to be involved nationally. There's a cause for us to be involved with regard to our state. I believe that our state is strong because we are diverse. When I see a General Assembly that sits idle and allows us to be the only state in the United States to not have a woman on its Supreme Court, I say that's a problem. And then look at what happened. We elect a woman to our Supreme Court, and then the 3 women that were a part of being nationally celebrated with the Profile in Courage Award, they got rid of not 1, not 2, but all 3 of them. They are now gone. Why? Because they had a differing view on women's reproductive rights and who ought to be in charge of making those decisions. I fundamentally believe that any time we allow a system to be such that the second you speak in a group, you are ostracized, almost use bad language, so let me just clean up my mouth real quick. When you're ostracized and ridiculed, and ultimately made poster persons for something that you've never represented, just to essentially get all of the women out of the South Carolina Senate. That's a problem. And if women in South Carolina witness that, I mean, come on. That's your daughter. That's your sister. That's your mom. That's your dad. And they're essentially saying there's no room for you. There's no place for you. Because your view might be different from ours. You don't deserve to be a part of the body. Come on, y'all. I mean, come on. Why am I addressing that? Because our state is really, strike that. Our fight is really not against Republicans. Our fight is not against Republicans. Our fight is against Republican extremism. That's the direction that we're headed in. Because of gerrymandering and how our districts are drawn, it forces those candidates to go farther and farther to the right. And what we are experiencing in South Carolina is that it is the extremists that are being the ones that are promoting the policies. And if we are not paying attention, we'll just witness it happen. I mean, there's nowhere in the world that the open carry gun law should be the law in South Carolina. Amen. It makes absolutely no sense. Why would you want somebody who is untrained to just have a weapon every place they go unless there's a sign saying you can't bring it here? It makes absolutely no sense. It is a wrong direction that we're headed in because extremists are the ones that are leading us there. Somebody's keeping time, I hope, because I don't want to be too long. I want to use my 15 minutes and I want to use them wisely. Let me pivot and let me just talk for a minute about how we win elections. How we win elections. It is nothing new under the sun. We've got to go back to the old days. Let me talk to the African American community real quick. I don't know that I could say it any better than Professor Smalls did. In the old days, we used the church as an organizational tool to get the message out. And once the message got out, folks fell in line. We've just got to examine the church of today, which is a little different from the church of old, right? We got all these folks that now believe that God is everywhere, and they're right. So they don't have to go to church to worship God. And so they're staying at home. And so then the question is, how do we reach them where they are and have them be a part of the fold? That is our challenge. I believe that South Carolina is a block by block state. And I believe that that's the way that we have to look at ourselves as a block by block state. Why is it that we can't get a street captain? Why can't we get street captains, y'all? I mean, why can't we literally be organized to a point where this person covers this neighborhood? And grant you, everybody in the neighborhood is not going to vote the way we want them to. But why can't we organize neighborhood by neighborhood as they're organized church by church? I believe that therein lies the key. When I look at the statewide races in our state and how all of our constitutional officers are Republicans, it is a 200,000 vote difference. We have millions of folks that think like us that are not participating in the process. Y'all, I believe we can reach them. And the issues are right for us to have the discussions. I mean, we're one of 2 states in the nation to not have hate crime legislation. When you look at some of the stuff that's on the internet, folks are coming to South Carolina because of those reasons. Yeah. Because they believe that we are a state where hate is welcome. We're not. We never have been. Well, I shouldn't say that. We aren't anymore. And I firmly believe that. Let me talk to our white community for a second. I believe that what I talked about when I talked about the organizational structure that Professor Smalls talked about, and how I believe that we ought to go street by street and block by block, when I was talking to the African American community, I think it works for us all. I think it absolutely works for us all. And so I want the Horry County Democratic Party to give that some thought. It'll take a lot of work, but I believe we can do it. Think about it. If we are successful, we can change the trajectory of our state and of our neighborhoods. I mean, I'm just excited about what I believe can be a new direction for South Carolina, because there is a cause. And if we respond, life for those after us is going to be better. I mean, I watched the superintendent of education recently, who said that there will be no AP courses granted for African Americans. Why? What sense does that make? You can't erase history. History is what it is. And so for us to deny those students who want to access that information while they're in high school is just fundamentally wrong. Next year, we will battle this idea of critical race theory. It makes absolutely no sense. But they're going to create a scenario where if you talk about slavery in the classroom, you're not fit to teach. Because apparently it makes some people feel uncomfortable, is what has been suggested. It makes absolutely no sense, other than to try to divide South Carolina. To create a scenario where black folks are up in arms, the other side is up in arms, and then those who are not affected by it sit idle. The only way that evil can triumph is for people of goodwill to do nothing. We are not a do-nothing people. We are not a do-nothing state, but it will take all of us working together. Last point, I'm probably about out of my time. Now, I've been known to say last point more than once. I'll try to do better this time. When I think in terms of what's ahead, I don't know that God has given me that vision. But I do believe that the issues are such that we can sort of see some of what's to come. It used to be that Republicans were interested in accountability, transparency, responsibility. Recently, we witnessed a comptroller general who made a multi-billion-dollar mistake. Okay? The comptroller general is no longer the comptroller general. And so what they say is we'll reform it, right? We'll take away that person being a constitutional officer, and we'll just give that power to the governor. Stay with me on this. That's the comptroller general. Then we discover that the treasurer has a secret account, $1.something billion in it. Has no idea where it belongs or how it got there, but it's there. It's clear to those of us who've paid attention that the comptroller general knew what was happening with the treasurer. The treasurer knew what was happening with the comptroller general. They both happened to be Republicans. Now, in my day, that's a cover-up. When you are not telling anybody about that other than keeping it in-house amongst Republicans, then you are hiding something from South Carolina. It used to be where that was bad. Used to be. So the solution then is to not have an independent audit, not have somebody who doesn't have a stake in the outcome to come in and examine the books. Instead, we'll let the governor chair a group. So we'll just let another Republican be behind closed doors and decide what information they gather and what they have decided to share with the South Carolina public. Y'all, that's just wrong. I mean, it's just fundamentally wrong. But I don't know that South Carolina is paying that kind of attention. It is our job to make certain that everybody knows and that everybody understands. The beauty of me and this invitation that I was just really delighted to accept to come and to share with you all is that there is so much that we could talk about. So much that serves as a cause that's greater than ourselves. And if you all would just, please, ma'ams and sirs, consider the idea that there is something that you can do about it because you believe that you don't want a cause to go unaddressed. And at the end of your journey, that you can look back and say, I made a difference. I knew it was wrong, and we changed it. Let us be organized. Let us mobilize. And let us utilize our talents in such a way that change comes to South Carolina in a progressive sort of a way. I'm excited about what you all are doing here in Horry County. I'm excited that we've got other candidates that are offering themselves to be a part of change. And I am a phone call away if there is anything that I can do for you individually or collectively. I apologize for not being able to hang out and stay around, but these schedules, they're demanding. But thank you all so much, and God bless you.